Which would have been a better death for Glenn? Welcome back to Fog Entertainment. It is The Walking Dead Season 6, and we have got a theory for you. 50 votes later, 2 weeks later from when the poll was actually uploaded, we've got two options with 4 likes. The dumpster death or the Negan death. And 20% of the vote have voted for the dumpster death, while 80% of the vote have voted for the Negan death. Right, let's look at it, right? I remember watching this show and thinking, holy moly, they've actually just killed off Glenn. That was like, a million years ago when this was actually like, in telly when it was coming out. And it's like, did they do the right thing here with this Glenn death, Nicholas? Because realistically, there's no way Glenn could have made it that situation without getting bit. You hear sometimes people get scratched and they turn. I mean, honestly, look what was going on here. He had like a million walkers turn into Nicholas, and you try to tell me that not one of them would have bit Glenn by accident or ripped him open instead of Nicholas and not have him turn. It's a completely unrealistic situation. But as for the death, I mean, I think because it's so unrealistic, I would have honestly preferred the dumpster death. Now, if we look over to the Negan death, right? Abraham is the Negan death, but then they decided to kill Glenn off as well. And I think you needed some character of importance other than Abraham to make that cliffhanger worthwhile. So I'm not going to have a go at them for killing Glenn there. I think that was the correct decision. But at the same time, did they know? I guess they would have. It was the end of the season 6, start of season 7. That's when they decided to kill Glenn off. They probably would have known even when they were writing this dumpster death for Glenn. But I just don't understand it. I think it would have been better. Honestly, I do think the dumpster death would have been better for Glenn. Because it just makes you feel like the original group that, cemented itself in Alexandria just feels very invincible to walkers. That's the sort of vibes that I'm getting from it at the end of the day. I don't know if anybody else is getting those sort of vibes. Like, I don't like that. I do like when walkers feel, dangerous and important to the characters and the story, but is what it is. So I'm actually going to go with the minority. I'm going to go with the 20% here. Up next, we have got the Negan death, which got 80%. Again, I'm not surprised. I mean, the Negan death's iconic. It's a lot more memorable than the dumpster death, but, that dumpster death episode for Nicholas and Glenn Fallon, it's a very popular episode. Anyway, Otto, WW289 says, might be better for Glenn, but for the story, definitely Negan. And yeah, I definitely understand that. You look at the spin-off, they've literally built out of that with Maggie and Negan, Dead City. It's like, if he but that's what I don't get, right? Seeing like in the future of The Walking Dead, it's almost like Abraham's death didn't happen. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, Glenn and Daryl were a lot closer with Glenn than they were with Abraham, but it's like any time the offence of the roundup, the lineup, get brought up, it's always like referred to as Glenn's death. Like, Abraham barely gets a mention. It's always to do with everybody else. Moving on to Bridget Connor. Glenn deserved to die when he climbed down the well at the farm. At least at the very least, his death could have served as a teachable moment for the group, maybe even prevent a future indefensible, idiotic decision. Even if they were able to hoist the fat walker out, I refuse to believe that anyone in the group would have been totally fine drinking from it, unless they had some sort of advanced reverse osmosis water filtration system we didn't know about. Ultimately, it was a filler scene, since they didn't actually need the well anyway, considering they ended up sealing it off and doing just fine. The other wells, there was never a water shortage, and people weren't suffering from dehydration. All we got was a meaningless scene that put Glenn in harm's way and stressed out Nervous Nelly. What am I supposed to led to Laurie finally made a contribution to the group when she started stroking Nervous Nelly? But did we really need that? Bridget Connor might have misread dumpster for well. I mean, I guess we could have put the well death in there, but yeah, the well death was sucked for Glenn. But I mean, we'll think back to season 2. It was stupid. I agree. Glenn going in was chaotic. It was a bit silly. It was a bit idiotic for Glenn, and it was literally just filler to get people who weren't doing anything that episode to do something. And there was actually quite a lot of people doing that. But anyway, guys, leave your thoughts down below. That's where we're going to leave this theory behind. Enjoy the reviews. Enjoy the good stuff here on Fog Entertainment. And peace.